What's up, everybody, and welcome to the No BS Real Estate Show, a podcast that gives you an inside look on how to make smart financial decisions while adding value to your life. I'm Matty Miller with ERA Real Estate, alongside my co-host and real estate investor extraordinaire, Ryan Robbins. Whether you're a long-time investor or a first-time buyer, join us as we dig through the everyday bullshit of real estate. Ryan Robbins.
Oh man, did we just tweaked out?
Nope, we're good.
There?
We're good. Nope,
Okay.
the recording went. Trying to get the Skype recording up here, but it didn't want to really go. So, welcome, man. Welcome back.
Hey,
It's Tuesday morning.
It is.
It's Tuesday morning, and we're here to talk about your week, man. How's your week going? That's what we're here to talk about.
Week's good. Had a good weekend. We've had a Brokers Open last week, which was fun. First one.
I was there. I brought cornhole boards for the party.
You brought cornhole boards. We didn't use them, but they were there. Nonetheless, they look good, leaning up against the wall.
Hey, well, at least they look pretty. I'm planning on getting maybe a No BS Real Estate Podcast logo on the top of those.
That wouldn't be too bad.
That would be bad, right?
Yeah.
Just set them out. What's the No BS Real Estate Podcast when you're doing open houses? There you go.
That'll be playing in the background.
There you go. Yeah, I don't know if we want to play that in the background. That's not
Scare people off.
It's not going to entice anybody. Who are these two idiots talking? No, I'm just kidding. All right, man. So we got on a topic of conversation. I've actually had probably two clients that I've talked to in the last probably month or so that have talked about this new thing. And I saw one listing up close and personal because my buyers wanted to go look at it. And I actually went to an OpenDoor listing. So OpenDoor is a new thing. And I'm going to let Ryan give a little bit of the background here about who they are, kind of what it is, and their other business connections. Is what I want to highlight. And we'll kind of give you our spin on, obviously we're going to be against OpenDoor because I want to have a job in 10 years. But that being said, if it goes the way they want it to go, they want to put me out of business. So that's kind of their goal at this point. So OpenDoor, shoot, my man.
I won't get too much into the background of the company or the investor side of it at this point, but it's founded. One of the founders is term Business Insider uses is part of PayPal Mafia, which is one of the originators to PayPal, again, back in the late 90s, early 2000s. So Keith Rabos is, again, kind of the chief executive running OpenDoor, and the gist of it is making the home selling process as simple as possible. So you want to sell it quickly, they're going to come in, do some inspections, make you an offer, and get you on your way. And that's basically it. They want to make it as smooth and easy as possible. They compare it to trading in a car. So that's what model they're going for.
Obviously, we have lots of questions about how this is going to work. As far as streamlining the process, make no mistake about it that OpenDoor, the company, has raised billions and billions of dollars to be able to get this thing off the ground. They're kind of going after. Obviously, the tech industry has obviously gone after about everything in the world. They've gone after the grocery business. They've gone after all of retail. They're still trying to compete with Walmart, and that's kind of the one thing that kind of cracks me up is the fact that you can everything that's done online. I guess with a house. I guess Walmart's probably a good example of that. It's like everybody thinks that Amazon's killing Walmart when you go look at the market share, and it's like 87% Walmart still. Like Amazon's carved out this really small sliver of retail that it's so ridiculous that people are just in their clouds about Amazon killing it. Like, oh, Walmart's going to go out of business. Not even close. Like, no. People still want to go to a store, talk to someone, buy something, food, clothes, etc., and actually have it when they go home. And I think that's maybe an example. And real estate obviously has some different challenges as far as that's concerned. Because honestly, I think people probably still want to have a real estate agent in their corner that know that is going to work for them. With OpenDoor, that kind of is gone.
And to touch on some of their funding, I know you said they've raised billions and billions.
This is an absurd number.
It's a lot. So, and on top of that, they're valuation is climbing drastically. So last year, and I'm just going to throw some numbers out real quick. Last June, they closed a $400 million round of funding, and they were valued at $2.7 billion.
Okay.
4-5 months later, in September, they had closed another $200 million with a valuation of $3.7 billion.
Yeah.
So not only are they getting funding in the hundreds of millions from companies all over the world, their valuation is growing, to your point, literally billions, and sometimes just as little as a few months.
And they're going to get more investors based off their valuation. So it's confusing. And it's confusing for me. It's not confusing. It's scary a little bit, obviously, for us, where we make our living off of, selling real estate. I don't think, and maybe I'm stupid, I don't think that, your traditional real estate agent will ever be gone. I think their job will drastically change, and I think the amount of them will drastically change. I think there are people that will still want someone to represent them. And because the way I look at OpenDoor, and we'll break down their fee structure here shortly, the way I look at OpenDoor is they're basically trying to be Carvana of real estate, I guess, if you will. That's probably a really good example that's been around for a while that's worked. But here's the deal about buying a car. There's very few negotiations other than, hey, here's the price, here's what it is. All the repairs have already been made for you, right, on the car, supposedly. Do you hire a car inspector to come inspect?
Couldn't you hire a mechanic if you're buying a used car and check it out? You could.
Of course you could. Yeah, but you're probably going to pay that guy something, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, fair enough. Okay. Are you hiring that person to also check out the roof? Are you doing this? But OpenDoor is telling you as a buyer that all this stuff's already handled. So my question is, are you just supposed to take their word for it, or how's that work as a buyer? From the buyer side, and we'll get back to the seller side here shortly. But from a buyer side, we went to a listing. So my buyers went to a listing. And basically what I did is I downloaded the OpenDoor app. Okay, so I downloaded their app, and I input my information in there, and I put it in there as a buyer, actually, just to see what kind of service I would get back. So I put it in there as a buyer, and I basically went to this house, and I'm a broker here, so obviously know what's going on a little bit. So I actually show up, and boom, they say, hey, put your phone up here, here's your code, type this code in, and it's going to connect. It's not Bluetooth. They just send you a code that only lasts for X amount of time. And the lock behind the door actually locks in 30 seconds all the time, okay? So and then you just basically on the back of the door to close it, like if you want to unlock the deadbolt, you just hit a button, it opens up, it'll close back in 30 minutes, or 30 seconds, So I, as the buyer, could basically just show up, look at this house. All I was giving you was my name, my email, and a phone number, right? Those three things. Now, why do they want that? They want it because they're going to sell you a mortgage. Okay, they're going to save money by not paying a real estate agent to buy that house. Okay, that's the two main things that I see. They're going to do the title services probably through them. All that stuff will be run through their companies. Okay, those companies may not be named OpenDoor Title yet, but they might be so-and-so Title, which they probably will own. Okay, or a group will own. Okay, so it's monopolizing basically the entire thing, which I'm fine with. But at the same time, I like small business, so it's what I do. Which we have everybody will always have different outlooks on small business versus large corporations, and no matter who you are, who you fall into it. Everybody's like, ooh, I want to go work for a large corporation, I'll make a lot of money. Yeah, and then they screw you, and then you're like, screw this, I'm going in to be an entrepreneur, and this is what I'm doing. So, and trying to survive as a small business person is difficult sometimes too, so you're always dealing with, the big guys, which I'm totally fine with. I kind of like that struggle. So anyway, as a buyer, you walk in there and they're just going to make money off of all the other things. Obviously, the mortgage, which we just talked about. My biggest issue with that is I asked my clients who was there, I said, guys, here's the deal. I said, I have a question. This is just an honest question. Would you guys feel comfortable going in buying this from a company that you don't know anybody from and not having any representation as an agent? And Joel looked at me and used his first name, obviously not his last name, but he looked at me and he said, no, why would anybody do that? Why would anybody ever walk into a house and buy it from somebody they didn't know? As far as having representation. The idea of that like scared the crap out of him. And I'm like, okay, so here's the deal. So now we're getting back to the fee structure, which we're going to break down, because now we got to see if OpenDoor's paying an agent to sell the homes with buyer representation. That's another cut into the cost. So I don't think if they don't pay a selling agent, they probably can be profitable in each particular home. But if they have to, they're not going to be profitable. Somewhere in there. And we don't know exactly. Every situation is different, because as they'll tell you on their website, fees can come from 6 to 13%. It's a pretty large range.
Let's break down their fees. So they say if you log on, and this is directly from OpenDoor, if you log on to their site, they're going to tell you the average OpenDoor fee is 7.7%.
Correct.
To close your property. They're going to say a traditional sale with a traditional agent is going to cost you between 7 to 10%.
Mm-hmm.
I would argue it's more in the middle of the 7 to 10, unless you're getting charged more than 6% with an agent. I don't see it being much more than 8 to 9. I don't know who's paying 10% to close out a property, but regardless, we'll just say 7 to 10. That's what they're using. 7.7 for OpenDoor. But the difference is they've got an asterisk next to theirs that says, again, to your point, may vary between 6 to 13. There's nothing on the agent side that says may vary between 5 and 20 or whatever else. Yeah. That's way outside of their range. It's 7 to 10, and 99% of the time it's going to fall within that 7 to 10. But why is it going to be potentially more to sell with them? And clearly they need to buy it aggressively in order to not lose on the property. But like anything else, their business model is to scale and do quantity. So that's how they're going. They can stand to lose on a few here and there because they're going to make it up drastically on other ones as they do more over time.
Correct.
So also from their site, comparing kind of what they say, the ease of OpenDoor versus, hassle with other, traditional types of sale. So OpenDoor, they've got 4 points. Close in just a few days at a competitive price. No listing, showing, staging, or stress. Transparent fees and pricing. Skip the work. We'll handle repairs and deduct the costs. And we'll dive into that in a second. The traditional home sale, they say, list on the market for an average of 50 days until closing. Risk of buyer financing falling through. Hidden fees and upfront costs. And search for contractors and manage repairs yourself.
So I'm going to go up from that list and start there. So search for contractors and manage repairs yourself. A good agent, first off, is going to basically hand you on a silver platter every person you need to call to basically get that thing done. And they're probably going to call them for you. Because with my clients, I call my guy and say, hey, FYI, I need you to go over to this house, call call the sellers. They know what they need to get done. Here's actually the home inspection report. Take a look at it. Let me know what you can and can't do. If I got to get somebody else there, we'll get it handled. Okay. So they're not really handling a lot of the repairs. They're not going out and digging up contractors off of Thumbtack or anything to try to find repairs. If they do, fine. But that's probably an agent issue. Or like, this is like, I feel like if they could compare this to a for sale by owner, that'd be a really, really good, comparison. Like
yeah.
If you were for sale by, like I compare OpenDoor, if you're going to consider selling your home on your own versus OpenDoor, probably go OpenDoor.
Correct.
Okay, I'm good with that because you're going to do all the work anyway.
Here's the kicker. Statistically, most for sale by owners eventually list with an agent.
Correct.
Yeah. So
what is it, 78% or something like that, close to 80?
Yeah, I don't know what
somewhere
the percentage.
Yeah.
It's high.
It's high. Yeah.
So
we've
to
talked
that
about
point,
it before.
the OpenDoor is a better option than a for sale by owner. But is it a better option again for an agent?
Than a traditional agent.
Yeah, they're saying, hey, look, a benefit to working with us is skip the work. We're going to handle repairs and deduct the costs. And they're saying a traditional agent is going to make you search for contractors and manage repairs yourself. But to your point, a good agent is going to walk you through that process,
Correct.
Give you the resources you need, and again, help you handle those repairs that need to be done. Correct. Going right above that, they say transparent fees and pricing.
Transparent fees and pricing.
Now, traditional agent, hidden fees and upfront costs.
All right. Well,
real quick, Matt, what's an cost if I was going to hire you to sell my home? Do you charge me anything up front?
No, I don't actually up front. Zero. Yeah. Nothing. So does OpenDoor charge you up front?
I don't know if they charge you up front. They're not going to charge you anything. They're going to just.
I'm just asking. They're talking about upfront fees, and I'm like, I don't charge any upfront fees. Like, I pay for everything out of my own pocket and get paid at closing, right?
I don't think there's any fees up front to use them. Like anything else, they're going to offer payment.
I didn't get that off their website. So
yeah.
So no upfront fees. But they're talking more about the term hidden. The hidden fees is the.
It's just like a trigger word for playing into the psyche of. I guess unsuspecting people. Again, oh my gosh, there's hidden fees working with agents? No, there's no hidden fee. And again, a good agent, a seasoned agent is going to be able to walk you through
I'll tell you the honest thing. And when I first started in real estate many moons ago, hidden fees were there, and the only reason why they were hidden to my clients maybe, and I did them a disservice when I was younger because I sucked at my job. Just like anything, the more you do it, the better you get at it, right? The hidden fees were the ones that I couldn't explain because I didn't know what they were, why they were there, whatever. And what I got to the point is after a couple deals, I just started going into my broker and saying, hey, what are these? Can you explain them to me? Because I really need to get a good grasp on this because I want to be able to explain every single little cost and penny that's for my seller or buyer, whatever. So I need to make sure that I know those. Now, are there people that are agents that sell 2 homes a year that might not know everything? Absolutely. So again, it comes back to a good agent who does his work and does his due diligence, or she does her due diligence. Not to be, want to make sure I stay in the middle ground here. A good agent's going to tell you all those things. It's like this is the argument that OpenDoor's trying to make, and I get where they're trying to come from, and I think in certain situations it can be done. I just don't think that it's going to be something that a lot of people are going to say, hey, you know what, that's probably my best option. I'm just going to go ahead and do it now.
Correct.
I just don't.
I think the difference is
what was the next argument, by the way?
No listing showings or staging stress versus risk of buyer financing falling through. Okay.
Risk of buyer financing falling through. Yeah, it happens. That's not like a huge scare tactic. It probably in this market today, since government regulations gotten a little bit better with mortgages, and we're pretty much disclosing everything up front now with lenders. It doesn't happen as often as it used to. I can tell you that. If a buyer goes and does something stupid like tries to buy a car in the middle of their closing, that's gonna be a problem. But that's. I've actually not had that happen to me personally, but I've heard that story a couple times. Buying falling apart, things are going to happen too. I guess I get that. And the last one was what was it?
Days on market. So just a few days.
Days on market.
Price versus
we're in a market. We're in a market where if your days are on market are over 25, there's something seriously wrong, or you're really overpriced. And I have news for you. You will never, ever, ever get OpenDoor to give you an overpriced value on your home. You very well may, if you list it on the open market, get somebody who wants to pay specifically to be in that neighborhood all the time because there's not a lot of inventory or whatever the situation is. Now, as that market changes, I think in a down market, OpenDoor may be really good. But in a down market, OpenDoor is going to know that, and their offers are going to be even lower.
Correct, yeah.
And they're going to even take more away from you as a seller. So OpenDoor is not stupid. The guys running this company are brilliant people and amazingly great businessmen. So if I can't understand how you're going to make money legitimately, and I do know how they're going to make money, they're going to go at it from the buyer standpoint. So like we talked about earlier, they're going to set up their own mortgage company. You're going to get approved through them. All the title and all the title work and all the closing is going to be done through an OpenDoor owned company, in air quotes, as in, oh, well, you're going to close with so-and-so title company, and it could be Door Open Title Company, and, all of a sudden, well, they're making $600 per transaction there, and they're doing 1,000 of them a week, out of, they probably have one in each state where that just happens, and that's what they're doing, and doing that. So there's money to be made. I just don't know how much. And
I think it comes down to, again, kind of putting a little bit of uncertainty on any agent in general. Like anything, agents come with a stereotype, like anything, you know. So I think OpenDoor is kind of using that as a pressure point to say, hey, look, why deal with agents that don't know what they're doing? Why deal with bringing strangers through your house and this, that, and the other? Let's make, again, the process easy and do it all in one spot. Let's get it done and move forward. Again, they're one of their competitive, comparisons. They say they're going to have you tell you about your home, give unique details and features, so they can give you a more precise offer. They say they're going to assess comparable homes that have recently sold near you, and because of that, they've got deep experience purchasing thousands of homes. But again, we can argue an agent's going to do the same thing. You know, they're going to come in and assess your home. We're going to walk through it with you. We're going to take everything you've done upgrade-wise into consideration. Mm-hmm. Who better to do a neighborhood comparison on property sales than agents living in your
I have a question. Is this like Zillow doing a comparable sale? Like, is this the Zestimate? Is that what we're doing? Because are they just taking every property in a 1 mile range and throwing it into a group and saying, your average cost is this? I don't know. I don't know how. Yeah, I don't know what.
They've got people that show up at some point to physically verify what's going on with the property.
They do.
I don't care how much experience you have buying across the country. If you're buying in Little Rock, Arkansas, that's great. But the 1,000 homes you bought there aren't going to help you here in Jacksonville, Florida. You need a Jacksonville, Florida agent that's, again, hyper-local and knows exactly what's going on within each neighborhood, within the larger community.
Yeah. And kind of back to the point that you were making in talking about how, not using a bad agent or whatever, using a bad agent. Like, I don't know if I'm concerned about my job being gone, because one of the things that I recognize, and I don't sell a ton of houses because I deal with so much property management, but I do understand that when I do sell homes, I only sell 10, 12 homes a year, but I'd like to make that 20 or 25 on top of property management, which would be great. But here's the issue. And I think what I'm concerned about is if OpenDoor takes away the market share that is the crappy agent in every market, I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
Because I think that's ultimately what's going to happen, is that OpenDoor and OfferPad and these places that are going to come in and they're going to take market share off of people who have had a really shitty real estate experience because they hired a bad agent or they hired their cousin's friend. Okay, that's who it's going to replace. I don't think it's going to replace the top-end agents who really know what the hell they're doing. Okay, I really don't. But I think there is a place for OpenDoor, OfferPad, companies like this to be able to automate that stuff. Do you agree with that? Because I think that's where we're going. Because if there was 8,000 or 7,000 less agents in Jacksonville, Florida, me still being one dealing with 120 property management deals and doing 20 properties a year, I don't think it's ultimately going to affect me, because all OpenDoor did was just become they just replaced 4,000 agents.
Yeah.
Of people that did 3 or 4 deals a year.
I'm all about people having options. To me, it's like anything. It's like our last podcast, breaking down the numbers. Break down the numbers and see, at the end of the day, maybe it is a better move to have OpenDoor come in, buy the property, but know that you may get more on the market, or you would likely get more on the market with a traditional agent, and compare the pros and cons of each.
All right, so I'll tell you a situation that I'll tell you a situation. I'm sorry to cut you off. I'll tell you a situation that happened with me so I have a current property that's under management with our company. It's a $230,000 property probably. Okay. OpenDoor actually made an offer, to him without even seeing the house, contacting him, whatever, and said, hey, we'll do this offer for $225. Okay. I think it could sell for $230. Okay, might need a little bit of work, but whatever. Like we'll do a $225. Now we haven't got to the inspection part. We haven't got to the percentage part and their fees. And I asked him. I said, "Are you considering OpenDoor?" And he says, "Not really. I just wanted to know what they would give me for it, because after that, let's say they're at $235 or they're at $225, and we've already done this math here, basically broken down for you. So we're at 225, and they're going to make it real simple for you to understand. So OpenDoor is going to say, okay, 225, your repairs are $2,000. And we're going to charge you, what's the average, 7.7?
7.7. So while you're breaking that down, I'm going to read another blip off their website, which comes into play with this. It says repair costs, and similar to any buyer, OpenDoor will conduct an assessment of your home to identify any repairs needed. If so, you have the option to deduct the costs and let us handle the work. So again, yeah, they're saying you're not going to have to hassle with other buyers coming through, but you still have the same process after the fact that you agree on a price, they do an inspection, and we find X amount of dollars that are things that need to be fixed. Well, guess what? That's coming directly off the price, because at the end of the day, they need a house that's in great condition when they go relist it, because they're not in the house buying business. They're in the business to get these properties moved. They're not holding these for.
They're in the business. They're in the business to make a lot of money.
Yeah.
Is what they're in. They're not in the business. They're not in the. Let me make this very clear. They're not in the business of caring about people. They're in the business to make a lot of money, and that's my issue with corporations, because corporations are greedy. Okay, and that's just the way it is.
This is how companies like this end up pinching off the middle of the market. So your way overpriced luxury type of sales are still going to exist. Your way underpriced type of sales are still going to exist, because that's not their bread and butter. It's the middleman, where they only got to make the $5,000 to $10,000. It's not much. We can give you 90% of what your market value is, maybe a little bit more, and because we only need to make a little bit on it. Because if we make $5,000, well, let's exaggerate that out over $5,000 a month. That spikes extremely quickly if you add that up over time.
Correct. So just running some quick math here. We were at 15. So estimations here. OpenDoor comes in and gives him a $225,000 offer, and at 7.7%, which is their average cost, not including repairs. Say they have $2,000 for repairs they need to make. Who knows? It could be $4,000. I have no idea. But anyway, let's just say $2,000. Total cost is $19,171 to sell the property to the buyer. $19,000. Okay. Let's take this into account and says, hey, we get it on the market. We list it at $230,000. It sells. Real estate commission is $13,800 for both buyers and sellers to do all the legwork. Buyers and sellers agents rather. $2,000 in repairs. So same thing you were already going to do. Okay. Plus we're throwing in another $1,000 for, it's probably about $1,400 probably for settlement fee, closing costs, all your other closing costs as well. And you're going to be about $16,900. So you're saving $2,000 by going with a traditional agent in this situation. These are pretty tight numbers, because I don't think that OpenDoor is going to give you $225,000 on a $230,000 house very often.
No. So the one example that I have that I had just pulled, it was one that we had looked at with a buyer of mine, and I have the side-to-side comparison of what they paid and what they sold it for. So we could kind of use that. So it was $238, just we'll use round numbers, $238 and $250.
Yep.
And that's what, so they paid $238. 2 months later, almost to the day, they sold it for $250.
2 months later, by the way, I thought one of the things was they were can close in 10 days. Oh, well, they closed in 10 days.
That was when they closed it.
OpenDoor is the one that took that on. Yeah, I got you.
So that side of it, about 8%. So they paid 92% of market value, essentially, for that property. That's pretty good. So that said, breaking out, the fees, we don't need to go through all of them, but the difference was that I had calculated out was $8,500, essentially, that you would have made more if you sold it with an agent versus selling it through OpenDoor. Now that's $8,500 spread over 2 months, because that's how long it took OpenDoor to close it. So is it worth the your $4,200 a month for you to
$40,000? Yeah, $4,000 a month.
Now, if your situation calls for needing to move and you don't have a choice, maybe you only paid $180,000 for the house. So
here's what I've realized about.
You're going to still have some profit in there anyway. So great, take your, you don't care about the $8,000 and go, but to some people, that's something.
$8,000's a lot of money.
Yeah, and if you don't know your numbers,
for a lot of normal people, that's a lot of money
to the bottom line.
Now if they're going to get in the luxury market and do this, which good luck, because that'd be hilarious. Because I don't think they're aiming at the luxury market. They're not going to go give you a $2.5 million offer on a property in cash and have it sit on the market for 3 years. That's just not going to happen. I don't think is there. I think they're still going after the sweet spot. In our market, $200,000 to $500,000 houses. I think that's where they're going to be, and I don't know, depending on where you're at. I would doubt that OpenDoor is going to do real well in New York City. I wouldn't think that would probably be their number one market they were targeting. Actually, it said in an article that I read they're targeting second tier markets, so they're not going to target your Chicagos, your New Yorks, your LAs, your Dallas, Texas, whatever, Miami's. They're not targeting. They're targeting a Jacksonville. They're targeting a Memphis. They're targeting an Indianapolis. They're targeting a Houston. They're targeting those second tier level markets on purpose because they know what they're doing. Again, they're not stupid. So, but I think what I've figured out is two things. Number one, if you're a local real estate agent and you're trying to talk to a buyer and they've thought about doing an OpenDoor, is number one, that's just an objection you're going to have to overcome. It's just another objection that we have to talk to. And OpenDoor is going to spin their numbers however they want to on their website. They're going to have videos. They're going to have marketing. They're going to spin their numbers however they want to. We have to be savvy enough to break those numbers down so it makes sense to them. It's just one more part of our job that's a little bit more difficult to overcome, okay? Because it's new, people don't know about it, so we just have to explain that to our clients and say, hey, this is the actual situation. This is what the numbers are really going to be if you do that at that cost, okay? So I think what's going to happen a lot of times is I think somebody's going to get, OpenDoor is going to give them a quote, and they may have done that, but they may also have a real estate agent in their back pocket. And I don't think I'd ever tell a client, say, don't go get a quote from OpenDoor. I'd be interested to see. And then I'll break it down for you to make sure that it's not a horrible deal, or it's a bad deal, or it might be a great one. I don't know. I mean, maybe there's some ones that they really want, or they're going to, willing to overpay, but I don't think they're going to be willing to overpay. But I'll tell you what, buyers out there on the open market will overpay.
I think right now they'd be willing to overpay because they're trying to launch this and they're going to be.
Yeah, right now. I think right now is the most competitive they're ever going to be.
Their business platform where, hey, look, we know we're not going to make X amount of money for, 3 to 5 years. We just need to get this in play. So right now is probably a good time to, go sell the OpenDoor.
If they're going to do it now, but maybe not necessarily in, whatever. So, and so for me, what's the obviously, we talked about this earlier, and I don't even think we were on the air at the time. And we talked about this earlier is, for my sell, as far as somebody who, makes money off of selling, 10, 15, 20 houses a year and running some property management stuff, I'm just buy local, man. I mean, there's so many people that, when you give your money to OpenDoor, we don't really know where that's going. There's some connections with some major corporations around the world that OpenDoor is connected with. And I'm not saying I'm completely against every corporation in the world, but I know that I'm an entrepreneur for a reason. And I know that people like to go to Small Business Tuesday in their local markets and, buy the fresh produce from the farmer down the road and, go to the local coffee shops because they don't want to give all their money to Starbucks or, go to those local delis because it's still it's a much better local feel. So that's the feeling for me that we have to get back to is, hey, buy local, same thing. And literally buy local. I'm selling you a house, so buy local. I mean, it just... that goes with everything. And small businesses are always going to have to overcome things over corporations. It used to be Zillow. Now we're not even scared about Zillow, which Zillow's apparently coming out with their own version of whatever it is, which I don't know if it'll be better or worse or whatever, but at the same time, we're still going to have to overcome those things.
And everybody's got to be aware, the guys behind these companies, their job is to, one, raise money, and two, grow these companies as large as they can. And they all have an exit plan. Not that they don't have, the interest of the customer in mind, but these guys are worth. This guy, Keith, he's worth billions. He was, again, held executive vice president, business development, public affairs, and policy in PayPal between 2000 and 2002. He held senior positions at LinkedIn, Slide, which is a slideshow animation for a social network company. Square is payment platform.
Yep.
What else is he involved in?
It's funny that he's a part of Square and PayPal.
Yeah.
That's interesting because they're basically the same thing now.
Zoom, or XOOM, he holds positions on a board there, where it's just part of PayPal as well. He's also part of Yelp.
Yep.
So as you start to look into how are these things interconnected, hey, is OpenDoor getting good reviews on Yelp? Well, interesting that the guy that is
of course they are
founding OpenDoor sits on the board for Yelp.
Yeah,
that's probably not something they're putting on the front page of their website, or is a partner in Kushla Ventures, which is a tech investment firm that invests
when you're dealing with a large company, and especially something in this situation where you might only do one transaction with, and that's the thing. If they can take one transaction and you're mad about the situation later and you never go back to them, they still made their money. That's the thing with real estate is for us to make money, one transaction as an agent, that typically turns into 2 or 3 because people are pretty happy, at least for me. I don't know. That's normal. I think with OpenDoor, they don't care if they have repeat business because they're going to get the masses going to them that saying, I think they ultimately want to have repeat business. Don't get me wrong. That's not their goal, but their goal is still to make money. It's not to make you happy.
Yeah.
Because I ultimately think they're going to say, hey, this is our plan. No, I think they're going to be transparent about their plan. Hey, here's your costs. Here's your money. Here's what you're going to get if you sell it with us. I have no issues with that. They're being transparent about it. Here's your actual number. Bam. Here it is. They have a system. Whatever. It may be simple for you. But at the instant that you walk in and you sell your house with OpenDoor and an agent calls you and say, hey, have you thought about selling your house? Like, I just did, man. What'd you sell it for? And they start breaking down the numbers and they go, man, I had a buyer who was looking at a neighborhood who would have paid $270,000 for that house, and you just sold it for $235 plus fees. That's when you're going to kick yourself.
Yeah.
And again, I think in a down market, if it's clearly a buyer's market, I think OpenDoor is probably going to do well. But I think in a seller's market, they struggle. So.
Yeah.
Opinions, and we will only see over time. The proof will always be in the pudding, so to speak. So we'll see how it's interesting for me to track.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to watch.
So if you guys have any questions about it or want to know more about what OpenDoor is, there's a bunch of articles that have been written out there. And as a matter of fact, we'll probably be writing one of those here very soon, releasing some graphics for you and some concerns. So
we're going to say business about TechCrunch. They've got a few good write-ups about the company, who's behind the company, a lot of their investment money, where that's coming from. So just like anything else, the more you know. I always encourage not to talk down or bad about anything. Just know what you're getting into, and again, make that decision yourself, regardless of whatever you choose.
Gotcha.
So,
well, my man, I think we're about to wrap this up. We're a little overtime, actually, but that's okay. So we went into some deep dives and explained some things. And if you guys have any questions, where can they get you at, Ryan?
Ryan.Robbins@ERA.com. That's pretty simple. Or JacksPropertyPros.com. That's the website. So
Perfect. Well, I'll just give phone number 904-574-1958. Give me a call if you have any questions. And as far as email, you can get me at Matty@MattySells.com. As far as property management is concerned, it's 904rents.com. So we have a Facebook page for this thing, right? Can you give me access to so I can share stuff on that? That'd be fantastic.
Hey, Matty, we don't have a Facebook page.
We don't have a Facebook page? All right, well, we need to get that done. So
we'll get a Facebook page going, guys.
Yep, so we're going to get a Facebook page because I think that's where we need to put some stuff out there and people can ask questions in the forums and all sorts of stuff. So that's kind of what I'm going for here. That's the next project on the list. So we will get a Facebook page. Promise.
That's it. That's this week. We're getting one this week.
That's this week. It's going down. So that was really gay, by the way. That was bad. No, anyway.
NOBS realestatepodcast.com. That's the website too. I don't know why we like to promote ourselves, that we promote the website. We don't have a lot on it yet, but
there's all the episodes are on there. I share them on my Facebook. I share them on my Matty Sells Facebook page. But we probably need to start sharing those to our actual Facebook page. So anyway, guys, thanks for joining us. And you got anything else?
That's it. I think you got to get to, right?
I got a closing I got to get to here.
Awesome.
So you think OpenDoor is going to show up to a closing for you?
I'll leave that one up to you.
All right, guys. Have a good one.
We'll see you.